still talk to you guys though. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, the reason why I started so early today though is because Lara plans on playing a little bit of Final Fantasy today. Not on stream, of course, but by the time I'm at least done with PowerWash Simulator, it will be around Claire's nap time. And I think by the time I'm done, controller will be charged and all that stuff too, which will really help her. The last thing she needs is to start playing Final Fantasy again, and the fucking controller's not charged. It is like, this is her only time today, possibly. I mean, I could probably help her out a little bit more, but it's probably her only time today to play some Final Fantasy, and she won't be able to do it because the fucking controller's not charged. So I told her yesterday, is like, I'm going to wake up really, a little bit earlier, start the stream earlier. So by the time I'm done with the whole coffee stream, I'll get to, you'll get to be able to enjoy some Final Fantasy while Claire's taking a nap, or I'll taking her, taking care of her downstairs. Just started work and you're already mad. Oh man, that's probably gonna be me in about a month or two. I'm gonna have a job and I'm gonna fucking hate it, and that's the whole thing. Just need help making. Oh yeah, so you need to you pretty much need to fine tune your resume, so that way you can kind of get what you're aiming for. I think some of the biggest tips that I can say as a person that has applied for many jobs is to never list a job that you worked less than a year for. Definitely don't list those. Some people will say list every job that you ever worked. Don't do that. I highly suggest only listing the jobs that you've worked for more than a year. It looks better. Yeah, there might be some gaps and all that, but they would probably understand. That's great for you because every job I worked for has been more than a year. Oh, that's fantastic. Then that makes things a lot easier, to be honest. And I'm in the process of applying for jobs too anyway. So if there's any struggles that you're most likely going to be feeling in about, starting today, then we can both talk about job applications and bullshit. Because I'm going to be dealing with it, and most likely you're going to be dealing with it, unless you get a job before the weekend. And congratulations. Me, on the other hand, it's gonna take me a little bit because I'm specifically trying to get into a different type of industry, which is security. I have a little bit of security experience, and very softly. And that's a bouncer, but I was under the table. I was an under the table bouncer. If that you know what I mean. I'm not legally hired as a bouncer, but I was a bouncer. I actually kind of like that job too. Being a bouncer's mostly it's relaxing. And it's boring, but it's relaxing. Not much to do unless you have the unruly types that you have to like escort out the building, which happens often more than you think because people tend to not know how to hold their fucking liquor. Need to move. I was gonna say, like, how many times is that people like either breaking into your car or breaking your car? How many times is that now, Mega? The third fucking time? Jesus. Why do you like? What type of car do you have? Like, is it a? It's not a high profile car, is it? You didn't get a pretty car, did you? Of in New York of all things. Padilla's over it. Then you'll have just gay people robbing his car. You know how much a dildo will sell for? There's a comedian that I listened to in a podcast not too long ago that said, it's like, oh, you'll be surprised how much dildos sell for. Doesn't have to be used. It's like I knew for a while not to like go too off the topic. Even there's not much of a topic, but when it comes to like cars being robbed and everything, or just homesteads and everything like that, I think Laura and I have been lucky enough to never really get our car broken into. That's the good thing about where we live, or at least all the places where we lived. Even in Montana. Like, I think when we lived in Montana in Great Falls, we lived in a place called Black Eagle, which was not considered the best place in Great Falls. But nonetheless, though, our car and our home never really got broken into, so I guess we were either lucky or something like that. Must have been lucky. Oh, it's kind of funny though. It's like I would be like super ultra mad at some point in time in my life if something got broken into, because I would probably be ready for war. I'd be like hunting people down. It's like, okay, time to go to the local chop shop and bring a machete. It's like, okay, where's my hubcaps, motherfucker? Yeah, I would not be good in those situations, to be honest. sadly, when I lived in Montana, it was a common, it is a common thing that the people that give the law the most trouble is sadly the indigenous people. And it's not a racist thing either. It's legitimately a thing in Montana, and I think in Wyoming and maybe in Oregon as well. They have I think the indigenous people suffer from drug addiction. So that's one of the reasons why the people that give the law and just locals don't trust people as much, is that there's a huge drug issue with the indigenous tribes and all that, which is a sad fucking thing, man. But that's at least how it was in Montana. Every time you park car, hide everything. Costly. Yeah. I mean that's a very good practice too. Is anytime you park your car and all that, you make sure anything in sight is very worthless. And even so, you probably just want your car to be as clean as possible inside, almost bare bones, nothing. But still won't stop people from breaking in your goddamn car though. I mean, in Mega's case, since you're not a part of his Discord, it was one of his fog lights that got stolen. It wasn't even nothing inside his actual car itself, from what I know. And I'm like, what the fuck? Someone stole a fucking fog light? They broke in to your actual light department and stole fog lights? How much do fog lights sell for? Like, actual fuck. I don't even think you get a lot of money out of that. Like, you know how hubcaps, like people stealing hubcaps and rims and all that, they don't sell for a lot. Like, if you try and go to even a chop shop, hubcaps don't sell for shit. And people steal them. Just to get what, like $10? Jesus. Parents are now telling you to go to go back to your garage. Oh, geez, a year waitlist. Oh, I'm guessing they didn't know how to uninstall the fog light, so they kind of broke some stuff. They were amateurs. So they didn't even know how to install the fog light. So I think in Montana, they could probably, like, the people in Montana were skilled enough to probably dismantle your whole entire car and everything will still be in pristine condition. Because it's Montana, man. Everyone knows anything about engineering of cars. New York, on the other hand, I can see it. I can see people not knowing how to uninstall, like, or hell, even change a tire. Like if you lived in Bozeman or something like that, definitely. You got a lot of people that know about cars. At least trucks. Trucks is definitely a thing. Thing is, I don't think I've ever been in Bozeman, Montana. I've been to, or not really been to, but I think Laura and I have drove through, what's that one place that you have to drive through in Montana to get to Colorado, not Great Falls, from the, going from Wyoming to I already forgot the city name because we never really lived there. Damn it. And can't really ask the question because no one's lived in Montana except for me and Laura. I would have to ask Laura when she wakes up. It's like, hey, what was that one place, that one bigger city in Montana? Of course, she's not awake right now, so it's like, I'm surprised she's not awake right now. I mean, she's working from home today, so, that's one reason why she's not awake. She doesn't have to wake up as early. Sooner, I think Laura said either starting next week or something like that, she'll be working part-time. Mainly because the baby's getting closer to being, baby's getting there. Baby's real, like, knocking at the door now. Baby's getting ready to become one with the world. It's a scary thought that Laura and I might have a baby within, I would say, either 2 weeks to a month. It's not guaranteed that we'll have the baby within a month's time, but still, there's a high possibility that the baby's going to be born pretty damn soon. I'm going to drink some coffee while reading chat. What's my thoughts on Elden Ring DLC getting a spot on the Game Awards? Well, it can't be considered a separate game. What was it nominated for? Because if they're going to start nominating DLCs, they're going to have different categories. Because you can't buy the DLC separately and not have the full game. So it showed up in 2 categories. Are all the nominations out right now? Because if so, I'll probably look at it today. I'll probably even do it on stream today. Showing you guys what I would vote for. I'm not trying to influence anyone's votes, but I'll show you guys what I'm voting for, so that way when the Game Awards come around, you'll know what I voted for. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably vote live on stream. That way Jeff Keighley gets a little bit richer. It's not going to affect his wallet or anything, but still. I just like to think that anytime anyone interacts with that stupid website of his, he gets a little bit richer. It's like, oh, we got a view. Jeff Keighley just got $10 extra. And it's kind of wild, though, if you kind of think about how much Jeff Keighley actually does every year. He doesn't really do that much anymore. It's not like he's like a constant person that's working on interviews and stuff like that. And yet, he's still in the industry. It's wild. That man is like a cockroach. He doesn't disappear. If anything, he reappears with more people that I don't know. I was like, oh, are these more cockroaches? It seems like it. And if anyone doesn't know why I don't like Jeff Keighley, it's because he's a legitimate asshole towards people. The only reason why I really don't like him. Then he has a very punchable face. I know that's a violent thing to say, but still. The guy has a very punchable face. Like, it would be so easy to do damage to that face and not feel bad about it. This is how I feel about him. Cody doesn't understand why I hate Jeff Keighley. I think even Bevo doesn't understand why I don't like him. It's like, look, if you know the history with Jeff Keighley and how he handles interviews and how he handles other people in the industry, like the way he actually treats other people, including developers and all that, is shitty. He treats them like garbage. If they're not Kojima or someone insanely important to the industry, he treats them like absolute garbage. He mainly treats the people that is pretty much in his same position as a person that used to interview and, you know, pretty much was a person that, you know, worked for places like IGN and GameSpot and everything like that. And, you know, doesn't give him the time of day. He's too big for them. It's like, I don't care what your position is. Don't be an asshole. Because I still remember the day, I don't know if anyone knows like Angry Joe and all that on YouTube. But when he was kind of first starting out and kind of doing his thing in E3 and everything, when E3 still existed, that was one of those. Like, he actually still has the footage of Jeff Keighley like being an absolute garbage of a human being. I think it's on his channel. I don't know how the hell you find it, but at least he has video evidence and audio video evidence of like Jeff Keighley being a trash human being. I need to find it one day, so anytime anyone asks me the question why I don't like Jeff Keighley, I'll just link them the video. I really do need to find it, so that way at least people will get at least a little bit of understanding. Because it legitimately was a video that made me mad. It was like, this piece of shit is running things like Game Awards and all that, and having really good connections with people like Del Toro and fucking Jordan Peele now and everything like that. You kidding me? He's the face of our industry now? This is bullshit. The jackass of a human being is the face of our industry. I hate it so much. So, yeah. That's one reason why I don't like Jeff Keighley. He doesn't deserve his position. He never earned it. The only way he earned it was stepping on the necks of his peers. That's how he earned it. If in a way, that's a classic businessman. So, and I guess you could say Jeff Keighley earned it. He had to hurt a lot of people, but he did it. He stepped on a lot of fucking necks there. You can say that with the same thing with Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, anyone that's in, well, I guess, the industry of business. More coffee, please. But yeah, get back on topic though. Yeah, we'll be. I'll try and do the voting stuff for Game Awards on stream. Actually, let me see if I have that scene still open. Okay, I do. I just need to fix myself. Okay, so we'll do some voting and all that once I'm like ready. Now I'll probably need to fix my size in that stream too. That part of the scene. Yeah, this fountain's gonna take some time. I think most of the time consumption for the fountain is mainly just cleaning the outside and the inner outside of the damn thing. Mainly because there's so much surface area. Na 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 na. Don't forget to clean his cooch. Doop 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 doop. Yeah, when it comes to the Game Awards for this year, there's like one more game that I haven't yet to play that I wanted like full opinions on. That game is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That was the only game I haven't gotten to play, even though I might vote for it. I shouldn't be able to vote for it, but I might vote for it just because it's fucking Like a Dragon. It just depends on the category, I guess, and what games it's going up against. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be allowed to vote for Like a Dragon, but depending on the games that it's going against, there might be an exception. And I'm still currently playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now. And And I guess even if I don't finish the game before the Game Awards come out, you know, or aired and everything like that, I think I'll have enough of an opinion and enough experience playing the game, so that way anything I say about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will at least be somewhat justified. Like, look, I think I've already put in like at least 30 hours into the game, which isn't a lot compared to how much hours you're going to be putting into it. Because all that end game stuff that you're gonna probably be doing after you beat the game is a thing that you're gonna eventually have to focus on. Just like remake, after you beat the game, a good amount of your time is spent doing certain type of fights and getting certain materia leveled up all the way. I gotta get that AP, you son. AP farms, you gotta learn all of them. So that way you can at least save like 6 times the amount of time spent doing it traditionally. That way it won't take you 6 times longer to like grind for AP. And apparently there's a really good way to earn gil in the future soon. I'm just hoping I can get to that area eventually. So that way I don't have to worry about money in the future. I can do that off stream and all that if I ever have the time. Here's the thing though. Very, very close in the future, I won't be able to do anything off stream anymore. I won't have the time, and I probably won't have the energy. It's either going to be on stream or it's not. So, I'm going to have to kind of get used to that. So I think anytime I have the chance to play games, I'm just going to play it on stream, even if it's not a playthrough or something like that. Because with the second, you know, with a second kid and all that, on top of a job and a bunch of other stuff coming, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to manage my, you know, time off stream and time on stream very wisely in a way. Which you think it wouldn't be any different when I was working at Culver's and all that when I was streaming. Back in the day. Before we moved to Montana and all that. You think it would be the same, but, you know, now we have kids. I think a large amount of my free time, at least when Claire and the kids are home, I'm going to be mainly taking care of them, at least till a certain point, a certain age. I think once they're a little bit more independent, then I'll be able to stream while they're at home with me. I think Laura will have an easier time too. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on how our kids turn out. Now, we have the full power to figure that out, though. We can guide them to a certain, like, point in their life. It's like, yeah, I think this is very highly likely that the kids are going to turn out just fine. And I have a few issues here and there, like every other kid does. But at least they'll have a huge support system, which is very good. I think if we didn't have the support system we had, I probably wouldn't have streamed for a very long time. And I also I don't know. Yeah, at least when it comes to you guys and the position that you guys are in as, you know, viewers and community members and friends of the stream and all that. Oh, why is that not clean? I must have went straight to this cleaning this thing. But yeah, when it comes to you guys, like, it would have probably looked that I probably would have probably disappeared for like a year or two. And then eventually I would have probably came back and streamed again. Half of you guys would probably be gone. Completely gone. Probably left the Discord server and all that stuff. Who knows? I don't know what you guys would have done. So what, you know, here's the thing too. I'm always wondering, like, what if I had to go ghost for like a year, which that would never happen because we have the Discord and all that. I have social media, so I would still probably be able to at least leave a message here and there. But what if I went ghost, at least when it came to streaming, for like a year or two? What would happen? Nothing much would change, at least stream numbers wise and all that. That would be, you know, the truth. Nothing, it wouldn't affect the stream. Community wise though, the people I talk to, you know, you guys. That would be interesting. I dare not want to test it. But it would be interesting. It's like, hey, me being gone for like a whole entire year. I mean, pretty much that's happened before. I mean, when we went from Montana to Colorado again, I think I was gone for like half a year. That's still not a full year though. But it was still a pretty big chunk of time. I was gone for like half a year. It was like one of the most stressful half years too, at least for me. Because the thing I like to do, and I like to do, you know, at least as like a very productive hobby, which is streaming, making videos and all that, I couldn't do any of that for a whole entire like half year. I was like, you kidding me? So I had to find other things. I had to keep myself occupied during that time. That's the fun part about moving, though. So you'll get into situations where, depending on what your hobbies are, you might not be able to do until you secure something. Which hopefully our moving days are over for, I would say, at least another 2 or 3 years. Eventually, though, Laura and I are going to have to get a bigger home. Which I never thought I would ever utter the words that we need a bigger home. But clearly, if we plan on having one more kid after we have our boy this coming up month, we're going to need a bigger house, man. We can't have a 2-bedroom house with 3 kids. It's not a livable situation. I mean, yeah, your family can deal with it, but they're going to have issues in the future. Yeah, kids need their own space, especially when they get to the point to where they're like pre-teens. Like once they get to pre-teens to teenager age, they kind of need their own room. And if they don't have their own room, they're going to have to just... It's like, hey, look, our family's poor. You're going to have to learn to deal with that. You're going to have to go to therapy one day in the future. And it's like, oh, yeah, my family didn't have shit when it came to money. It's like, yep. That's what happens when you're my kid. I mean, I kind of grew up poor / lower middle class most of my life. I think this is the best position we've ever been in. Well, actually, that's false. I think the best position I was ever in my whole entire life, at least when it came to living with my parents and all that, was when we lived in Reno. So I think, one, well, I didn't, my mom and my stepdad was not divorced. So that was the thing. But two, you would probably call us somewhat upper middle class during that time. And then we moved to Colorado and we went right back down to lower middle class again. Bread started to get very hard to buy because we couldn't afford it. There we go. Okay, the lower floor I'm gonna try and clean last. Try and clean the last bit of outer area for this. Kind of makes me wonder, in a way I should have probably cleaned all of the outside in one go. Because it's actually going very fast to clean these. Ew, look at all the clean stuff. This game is so satisfying. If no one's ever played PowerWash Simulator, and this somewhat looks at least somewhat appealing to you, go and play it. If you have Game Pass. Oh, I don't actually, is it still on Game Pass? I think if anything, it's at least PlayStation Plus. So if you had PlayStation Plus at least a few months ago and all that, I think it came out for that. Hopefully you claimed it. I think it's one of those games you had to claim. I'm trying to remember. It's either a game you had to claim or it's in the catalog. I don't remember. I don't know if you had to have PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium. It's probably an extra at the very most. And if you get it on PlayStation at least, I think PlayStation has most of the DLC for free. Which is wicked. Why is that popping? Hey, seriously, what's dirty on this? There it is. It's just a smidgen. Smidgen of dirt. Damn. I totally forgot how big this fountain actually is. I was like, shit. Do 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 do. It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Get the fuck up. It's kind of funny that Limp Bizkit, speaking of Limp Bizkit, they had a comeback for at least in the past year. Like, whoa, where's Limp Bizkit coming from? I thought that was like the age of old when it came to the early 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s. I thought they would have stayed in that weird little bubble. And then they just came out of nowhere and like came back. It's like, wait, really? Limp Bizkit's back? The fuck? They're going on tour and everything like that. I was like, okay, this is weird. Am I back in the early 2000s? The shit's going on. Like Linkin Park is back and all that too. You think that would be impossible, but it's possible because, well, new singer and everything. It's a female singer. She's not bad, by the way. I actually like her sound. That first live concert was a little rough, but it was also her first performance with them. So it was understandable that it was a little rough. But most live concerts tend to have those moments where the singer especially has a rough time. Like the notes just don't want to come out correctly. Most of the times it's not even nerves for the singers. Some days your voice works and some days it don't. That's what's fickle about the human instrument. It's like you want it to work sometimes, but then it doesn't. Knowing my voice, like if I ever tried to start singing and I wanted to be like a professional vocalist or something like that, I would not be very reliable. I was like, I'm more of a recording vocalist artist. If I even got somewhat semi good, I probably would never do a live gig because I'm not that good. I would probably never get that good. Yeah, I usually have mad respect for singers and vocalists, but most of my appreciation comes to people that are instrumentalists, people that play instruments. That's where my appreciation lies. It's like a lot of people like singers and everything like that, but I'm a person that looks at the guitarist, I'm a person that looks at the bassist and all that, drummer. Drummers tend to be underappreciated for some reason. Mainly, well, if you think about it, bassist is underappreciated most of the time because they don't have insanely complex, like, parts in most bands. But at the same time, too, there's exceptions. You ever look at the bassist from Red Hot Chili Peppers? That will tell you otherwise. It's like, you ever listen to the bassist of Red Hot Chili Peppers and say, like, what the fuck, man? The actual fuck? It's like, you making that bass sound much different than it should sound. This is going to take a while. I'm going to try and clean the outsides of it first, so that way my mental stability is, well, stable. I'm going to clean to the point to where I can at least see the edges. And then I'll just clean from edge to center. Alright, there's the first little edge spot. I'll even clean the ramp a little. The runoff. I guess that would be considered, what is it? Cascade? Okay. They actually use the correct term for whatever the fuck that is. It's like, oh, it's a cascade. Alright, just gotta make sure this little ramp lip is somewhat fully clean. I do have the short extension on, right? Yeah. Okay. This power washer is very underpowered for what I'm trying to clean. It just feels underpowered. Okay. I have to pretty much rinse and repeat that every section, so that's gonna be fun. There it goes. That's one floor out of many. Oh boy. This is our life now. Not complaining. I enjoy the virtual job. If this was an actual job, it would not be as glorious as you would think. Like power washing, at least watching it, is probably very satisfying, yes. But probably doing it as a day-to-day job is not as probably happy-go-lucky as you think. It's probably shitty, just like any other job. And you have to get really good at it too, because a lot of people think you could just point a power washer to anything and it will clean it. That is not the case. If anything, if you're using the wrong power washer at the wrong PSI, it will damage the thing that you're trying to clean more than anything. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone try and clean like a sidewalk that has like decorations and all that on it. Like, you know, one of those like stone kind of like treated sidewalks that has like, I don't know, like ornaments and things like that. Like, you know, kind of like stone ornaments and everything. And they put a power washer over like the object and it just tears it apart. And now they owe whoever they're doing the contract for money. So you're losing money as a power washer. Yeah, not as fun. At least you don't have to worry about that in this game. You can pretty much set your power washer to any kind of PSI and not have to worry about damaging or the expense of water. Oh my goodness. Claire's awake. Yeah. Hi. What's up? Hi, girl. Yep, Claire's awake. You're probably going to be hearing her in a bit. Hi, Claire. I'll be down sometime soon. In the near dear future. And now that Claire's awake, she'll probably be wanting breakfast and everything. Claire's like calling for me. It's like, Daddy, Daddy. It's like, I'll be down eventually. I wasn't planning on going down, and at least until I finish this job. Now, like, you know, give Claire a hug that she doesn't want. Do 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 do. I didn't hear the mouse last night. Yeah, it's weird. Or maybe. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, we've been having a mouse problem for the past few weeks now. It's a swarm of field mouse, I would like to call it. Have been in our home. We usually have like a mouse problem every other year or two, and it tends to be the case. Like once it starts getting cold and everything like that, they try and find a more warmer area. And field mice, at least when it gets cold, they usually dig burrows and everything like that. But if they're in a suburban area like where we are, they will go and find people's houses and find a way in and live in the house until it gets warm. But field mice don't know what they can and can't eat. So Darwinism tends to, be a big factor in, well, how long are you going to stay in the house? Are you going to eat something you shouldn't have eaten? And I think that's what happened to at least 2 or 3 of the mice so far. Because I think Laura one day found a dead mouse near the stairs. And it looked like it definitely ate something it shouldn't have ate. Because we haven't laid out poison or anything like that. Like, we haven't done any traps or anything yet for the mice. So it's like, okay, so what's killing the mice? We don't have, from what I know, we don't have any poisonous spiders or snakes nearby. Man, I have never seen a rattlesnake nearby yet. I know they're in Colorado, but they've never been at least where we live. We do have black widows, though. So I'm kind of wondering if, at least where the rats are crawling in the walls and all that, they might be getting bit. But usually if a mouse gets bit by a black widow, they're not going to be wandering around. They'll probably seize up real quickly wherever they got bit. And, black widows, they don't tend to wander off too much from their actual web. Unless that mouse was very unfortunate and came across a black widow while the black widow was going from an old web to a new web. So that could be the case. I could see that. I was like, oh, yep, that mouse is screwed. And yes, black widows eat mice. You'll be very surprised. I've seen one eat a mouse. I've also seen birds get eaten by spiders too, which is fucking frightening. Spiders. Not the most pleasant thing. And I know, it's not the most pleasant thing to talk about too. Spiders in the morning. But yeah, if you ever lived in the area I lived in, which is mainly like, well, everywhere. I pretty much lived almost everywhere. All kinds of like biomes and all that. And once you lived in Germany and then you go all the way to like Montana, no other biomes really surprise you. I think the only other land that would actually like surprise me and I won't be acclimated to right away if I ever go there. Probably the Amazon. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever acclimated to something like that. Something so primal and old. That would be like, unless you're an indigenous tribe that has lived there for their whole entire existence. Even then, though, they don't know the whole forest, or rainforest. I guess it would be the most technical term for it. I'm glad the our little at least our Twitch bot is catching that stuff. It's very nice. Yeah, for some reason, anyone watching live or the VODs ever see me react to something that's not happening, but it sounds like a chat-related thing, it's mainly like a mod thing. Something that, okay, it's like either the bot or one of the other mods caught something, and I'm pretty much reacting to something you guys can't see, but all the people with the power can see. It's like, this motherfucker. Yeah, I think the bots are shit out of luck now, though. I think they can't really reach channels that at least have a little bit of the like gumption to like fight them now. Like, I think maybe out of the whole entire month so far, only one bot has actually been able to show their message on chat, which is surprising. I was like, I wonder how it did that. Probably because they're using like a new client for their bot making, and it didn't really quite, get caught in the algorithm of ban evaders yet. Sorry. Taking care of coffee. We're getting closer and closer to finishing the... You'll be surprised, but this is actually like half of the fountain's pretty much already done. Almost. I think once I finish this outer, or at least the floors of the outer part of the fountain, it'll be done. Halfway done. Because that's a large amount of the surface area for the fountain. Alright, here's the funny thing too. Most people that do power washing for a living, I don't think they ever have to deal with something this fucking dirty. As if, I think, here's the thing. If a object like this, like a fountain, is super dirty, they wouldn't be using a power washer. They would be using something completely different. Probably a fire hose. Fire hose first, and then maybe a power washer for fine details. I can see that. Yeah, that's what happens when I'm a little too close. I'm not at the right angle. So it almost seems like it doesn't clean it half the time, but it is. Probably because that's the way the water kind of like slightly dries up on the actual fountain itself. And yes, I am cleaning this the opposite way compared to the other ones. I wonder if there's any other news I've kind of not heard about when it comes to at least the gaming world. Oh, here's the funny part. I think Laura asked me the questions like, "Hey, do you know the game Avowed?" I was like, "Avowed? Why are you asking?" It doesn't seem like a game that you might like. But yeah, she asked me one day, it's like, "Do you know the game Avowed?" It's like, "Yes." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Oh yeah, my sister asked about that game one day." It's like, she knows, she's interested in Avowed. I was like, "Well, the game's not out yet, of course." But I told her, it's like, "Yeah, it's going to be on Game Pass and all that, like, day one." So, I guess if your sister's, like, interested in playing it and doesn't know 100% if she's going to like it or not, definitely at least get it downloaded or pre-downloaded to where you can play it one day. Which I forgot when that game comes out, but it's the next Obsidian game. So, any of you Obsidian fans that like, well, their RPGs and all that, even though I think this RPG that they're coming out with, Avowed, is going to be, I think they said it's going to be pretty somewhat old school, but different, if that makes sense. Old school, but different. Whatever that means. Apparently, I need to play some Mario. Any Mario game. Mainly probably Mario 64. Because that's what where the music's coming from. I don't sing any other, or hum, or doodle any other Mario music. Anytime I like have Mario music coming through my head, it's always Mario 64 music. It's not Mario Odyssey or anything like that. No, it's Mario 64 music. Why? Because I've heard that the longest, and I've heard that the most. I don't think anything's ever going to beat Mario 64 music for me. And now I can already picture like the level and everything too. I think that's the first level's music. Doo 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 doop 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 doop. I can see the cannons falling. The the bombs walking around being assholes. A chomp in the middle of the map, or it's like, I'm trying to remember what the positioning was. I think it was like middle, but south of the middle, just slightly south of the middle. There's a chomp. At least where you spawned. If you like spawned and you were like facing a certain way, and you considered that like north, yeah, it would be like south of the middle of the whole entire map. That I remember. That's another floor down. How many floors to go? 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's 3 more. So we've already gotten halfway through that. I'm going to take a little bit of a coffee break. Just a little bit of a coffee break. This fucking fountain. At least when it comes to the power washer they give you, it makes the job go by a lot longer. Man, that coffee though, especially with that like peppermint mocha creamer. Tis the season, motherfuckers. Almost tis the season. All right, back to it. Stop dilly-dallying and no shilly-shallying. God damn it. Got that music stuck in my head now. We're not even listening to it. I'm pretty sure we can't listen to Nintendo music for like coffee streams. Because I think Nintendo music is now officially on Spotify. And if that's the case, they're gonna start copyright striking people for Nintendo music on their like videos, live streams and videos. Unless you're actually playing the game, then they'll probably have a little bit of leniency. But I think if you're just kind of listening to it while playing the game, I think that might be a different case. You know, copyright laws and all that. It's like, oh, fair use is only going to protect you so much. It doesn't protect almost anyone. If anything, it gives you just a little bit of leniency before they, like, slam the book on you. Once, you know, if you have Nintendo going for your throat, you're screwed. Can't do anything about it. Just go with it. You know, say yes, sir, no, sir. That's all you can say. At least when it comes to, you know, Nintendo of Japan, you know, Nintendo, like, directly. Like, Nintendo of America, they have a little bit more leniency on people. But Nintendo of Japan, like the big boy, nah. They don't have leniency. They will kill you. If they had the ability to tie you to a chair and break both your legs, they probably would. They probably do have the ability to do it, but you have to live in Japan to do it. The modern day Yakuza. It's called Nintendo. I am pretty sure if Nintendo ever heard that, they would probably call for defamation. It's like, hey, this guy's trying to defamate our public image. I mean, look what you're doing to the Power World guys. That was pretty fucked up. Making a patent for, what, Pokeballs? Or no, it wasn't the patent for the Pokeballs. It was the patent for the mechanic of how it works in games. I don't know. I have to read that patent a little bit more. But, yeah, what they were doing, like, they didn't want to sue Power World until that, like, patent went full, you know, was cleared. And once the patent was cleared, then they went for, Power World's jugular. Yeah, they were vicious. Vicious motherfuckers. I'm actually kind of wondering, is that... I'm pretty sure they're still in court, or at least haven't went to court just yet. But Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how they're doing right now. Is there any settlements that they're going through right now? Most likely, knowing Nintendo, they won't. They won't accept any settlements. They'll, unless it's like, probably at least what? I'm assuming they're probably wanting at least 250 million, at least at the bare minimum of losses. Not sure. It's it's such an old story now compared to like today's happenings. But I've been kind of thinking about it lately. It's like, you know what? With Nintendo putting out all these like patents and everything like that, like kind of wondering what other companies they plan on going towards to steal money from, because they think their money's getting stolen from those companies, you know, by those companies as well. It's a very victim oriented business if you think about it. Like, they play the victim, like Nintendo plays the victim, and they steal all the money from the other, even in like indie developers, which is kind of messed up. Like, as an indie developer, let them have the money. Yeah, it might look like Mario. Who gives a shit? They're a small independent developer. Stop picking on the little guy. Let them do their thing. Same thing with the emulators. Stop messing with the emulators. You don't want emulators around, or be well, it's not like emulators are successful. But if you don't want emulators being a actual thing, how about you release some of your older games on things like the Switch or PC? I am waiting for the day where Nintendo starts releasing their games on PC, though. Of course, they're going to have their own launcher and everything like that. Like, Nintendo has to have their own launcher because they don't want people pirating their game and all that. And they'll probably have some like anti-cheat software built into the software that doesn't work half the time, and you have to be online always. You know, they'll find ways to screw it up. And they'll have the whole Disney Vault system too when it comes to Nintendo, because Nintendo has their own vault. If you guys didn't know, remember that, like, what was it, the Mario All Stars game that came out like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago? I think it was, I don't know if it was before or after the, 2020. I refuse to call it the other word because it wasn't really that. But, yeah, I wonder if they plan on re-releasing that one day because they stopped selling it at some point in time. VTuber. I'm a PNG tuber. I'm superior. I'm a slime boy, dang it. Sup, General? You want to be a PNG tuber too, or a VTuber? I only do this for coffee streams. Like, if you look at any of the other stuff, I still have the camera and everything. Am I going to cover this year's Game Award? Yeah, I was just talking about it with Mega, and a little bit later on in this stream, I plan on showing you guys what I'm voting for, to show like what I know about and what I don't know about when it comes to the Game Awards. Give you guys a prediction of what I'm going to be happy about and what I'm not going to be happy about, what's going to win and what's not going to win. So I will be doing my voting for the nominations of the Game Awards today. So you do plan on it. It's not hard. if you do like, if you ever try and use the software like VideoTube or something like that, Mini, all you really need for like a basic PNG tuber thing is like, was it 4 different states, like open mouth, closed eyes, closed mouth, things like that. That's the simplest you can go. Here's the thing with my I already have a bunch of different like moods my little slime can be. Like this is like your standard slime tube dude that I have. And then I have very angry, so mad, I'll eat your heart and spit out your dick. And then I see something very, very sexy, like, Tifa, in Final Fantasy. I'm like, whoa, dude. I don't know if I can handle that. And then we see something fucked up, or we're just like, completely and utterly exhausted. And, yeah, just done with it for today. But yeah, we go with our standard. Because, when we're playing coffee streams, there's not much to change when it comes to mood. And I plan on having a lot more. I plan on having more for the standard mood that we have right here that you're seeing right now. I plan on having more when we're in a relaxed state. The eyes are closed like somewhat halfway, kind of like chilling. We're just chilling. Mouth might be in a slightly different position when we're like chilling like this, like it's a little bit to the slanted. Subtle details to make the PNG a little bit more lively. Have a little bit more characteristics. Switch between it whenever we need to. So right now, our little slime boy here is still a little tad bit still. There's not subtle changes from time to time. Like, there is one thing I would like to do, is where the eyes kind of shift here and there. I might have to make states just for that, but I would have to activate it. And it's probably something I have to manually activate and not have like on a certain timer or something like that. Because VTubers have it pretty easy as long as they have a camera and they had someone that was able to rig and do the art for their character. Everything else is pretty easy. For people that do PNG tubing and all that, they have to learn how to animate. They have to learn how to do all that stuff, unless they commission that stuff. But, and not to mention they have to use probably a little bit more software and everything as well to get their PNG looking crisp. Because right now, I'm probably the closest person next to someone like Skin Teen. Even though, I got a lot of work to do in order to get to where Skin Teen's avatar looks. Like, if there's anyone that has done the most work when it comes to their, like, stream avatar, it's probably Skin Teen. She's the one that impresses me the most when it comes to whatever the fuck she uses as software. And that's the thing, too. It's not out there in the open. I don't think she talks about it. So, like, I'm one of those people that tend to not want to send that streamer a question. It's like, hey, what software do you use to, animate your avatar and all that? So most streamers don't want to talk about it. I understand. I would be the same way, especially after, like, what, the 100th time someone asking that question? Yeah, I would be in the same boat. It's like, hey, fuck off. I don't want to talk about this right now. Let's see. Am I just gonna clean the outside of this? Probably. Yeah, let's just try and clean the outside as much as I can. There we go. Just kind of do that. I have to do that throughout the whole entire outside. It's like, yeah, whatever Laura cooked for Claire for breakfast smells mighty good. Claire's eating good this morning. If she's not, like, putting it all on the floor. That's one thing about Claire. Just like any other kid her age, they eat very messy. Very, very messily. And here's another tip for you guys that plan on having kids in the future. Your kids will not eat everything, and don't try and force them to eat everything. Try and, like, encourage them to try and eat as much as they can. But if they stop eating, then it's like, okay, well, you can't eat later, okay? Just making sure. Once they actually understand you, at least. Like, once they understand your words and everything like that, if they're hungry later on, especially after, like, dinner, then it's like, okay, you should have ate more. You know, you didn't eat all your food, so that's why you're hungry. So, if anything, yeah, tell them to drink more water. You're gonna have to wait until the breakfast. That's gonna be fun. Telling 2 kids that they should have ate their whole entire dinner, knowing in the future that they're wanting to eat something at like 7 or 8 o'clock. It's like, you should have ate more. This is where communication comes in really well. It's like, yeah, you gotta communicate to your kid. If you don't communicate, just like a relationship, they'll fall apart. Sadly, though, we can only communicate with Claire, like, very primitively. She doesn't quite understand everything, but she's getting the basics. Certain tones, certain words. She's actually understanding certain words. She's saying certain things now. She's saying, what? Or, you know, very... She hasn't really formed, like, a very basic sentence yet, from what we know. She's said words here and there, like Wawa and people's names. Dada, Mama, Bluey. I forgot what she actually said. I think she kind of says Bluey. But yeah, she'll say stuff like that. Nana. all these little words here and there. All right, that is the outer inner area completed when it comes to being washed. Now I gotta go inner to outer. That makes sense. If that makes sense, raise your hand. The inner outer part needs to be cleaned. If that makes sense, raise your fucking hand. I kind of think about it too. It's the whole slime boy here for, you know, at least the coffee streams and maybe certain playthroughs is it's very ironic for a lot of reasons. one, I don't care about VTubers at all. I don't respect them at all. If anything, it's actually what do you call it? A satire. It's a satire avatar, and there's reasons for that. But it's also to kind of serve a purpose. And mainly the slime boy here is to have something else to look at while I am not in the mood to have my camera on. That's pretty much it. Simple as that, buddy. Buddy. Oh, this is like one big cap. Oh, okay. I see how they're doing it. Like, how is it? I'm trying to remember, trying to figure out how they're separating this. It's like, I see now. I see the truth of it all. Oh, okay. We got lights. Lights, camera, action. It would be kind of interesting if this game actually ever had like a day-night cycle. It would make the game harder. That's for sure. Never had to deal with the day-night cycle. It gets dark and it's so hard to see anything. Alright, let's clean this ramp. Or the cascade. Right. We'll just jump on this bad boy. At the top of it's going to be the dirtiest part of it. And clean. We got about 1, 2. Wait, how? 3, 4. Okay. Okay. I think about 3 or 4 more to go. Okay. Well, now that I cleaned that one, it's time to clean the rest. Actually, what I'm going to do to make it a little bit more manageable, like a little bit easier, is kind of do this. Clean like kind of underneath it. So that way I don't have to keep going up and down, up and down, up and down while I'm trying to clean this son of a bitch. Let's kind of do that. So while the underside is slightly getting cleaned, I'll go back the other way and clean the top side of it. So that way my analog sticks get a break. And that's what clean these lights while I'm at it. Ding. Okay, let's clean the top. Cleaning the top from this angle is so much easier. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Oh yeah, guess what? For you guys listening right now, I acquired a new game, all thanks to Twitch giving me my payout, and I acquired a new game for the stream somewhat in the future. I don't know when, but it is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So yes, I have a Xenoblade game coming at you in the future, my dudes. So I got the second one, and I eventually will get the third one if I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I remember enjoying the first Xenoblade Chronicles game, so it shouldn't be any different, I think, when it comes to my enjoyment. Depends on the systems. But, yeah, I plan on kind of playing that and everything eventually at some point in time. Might be a little bit, especially depending on how long it takes to do the playthroughs in the future, with, you know, kids, secondary job, you know, all that stuff. Playthroughs are going to be taking a little bit longer to finish and start. So, thanks for everyone's patience in the near dear future, because you're gonna need it. If you're looking for a playthrough to be done in the future, especially how my life is gonna be later on, yeah, thank you for your patience, because that's all I'm gonna have. It's like that's the only thing that's working for me right now. Me being very patient on everything I do now. Like, there's probably going to be certain playthroughs where I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to play this on easy so I can just enjoy the fucking story. In the future, I'm going to be like that. I'm going to turn into that old man that's like, you know what? There's some games I'll play on hard difficulty or like nightmare or whatever. And then there are some other games where, like certain RPGs, for instance, like this doesn't need to be played on the, you know, normal or on the hardest difficulty. This could be played on easy and I'll enjoy it just as much, if not more. It's just how I feel, though. I have yet to ever do that on stream, but there are times where I'm like doing a playthrough. It's like it'd just be so easy to change the difficulty and not have to worry about dying all the fucking time. That'd be nice. That's why I like playing games like this, like either on my spare time or on the stream, like pretty much what we're doing right now, playing a game that you don't have to worry about difficulty. That sounds like Claire got into something. That has started. You can hear it. I can like looking at my mic's level. Is Claire getting in trouble? Never fails. Yeah, I'm trying to finish. Trying to at least start and finish the stream before Claire's first and only nap usually for today. So that way Laura can have the system and play some more Final Fantasy for herself. It's the plans, at least. So at least that's the plans that we wrote up last night. It's like, okay, I'll wake up early, do this coffee stream and all that. By the time I'm done streaming and everything, we'll have the controller charged. Oops. What am I doing? It's like I kind of forgot how to crouch. Okay. That's good. So yeah, I wouldn't have music being played right now, but apparently the lo-fi music I was playing, like, what was it? Not Monday. It was the coffee stream before that one. Apparently, some of that lo-fi music is actually copyrighted. So it's like, oh, right, for no copyrighted music playlist, it sure does have copyrighted music. I was like, okay, nothing is sacred anymore, huh? Lo-fi music being copyrighted? Okay, whatever. You know how easy it is to make a lo-fi song? I could probably make one today. Maybe I will. Actually, I might. If I had the time, though. Sadly, I won't. Since Laura and Claire actually here, it's like, yeah, I'll do it. I could probably do it in Audacity of all things. So Audacity is a free sound software. You could probably just make a lo-fi song there. It doesn't take too much talent to make a lo-fi hip-hop song. And this is being said by an actual person that has composed music before. Yes, it does not take a lot of work to make lo-fi music. It's lo-fi. I mean, it would defeat the purpose of the genre to be actually difficult to make. Like, come on, man. If anyone's ever done any music development at all, you would know that lo-fi hip-hop, or just lo-fi in general, is probably one of the most simplest kind of, at least, music art forms to get into. I mean, it's probably a good way to actually somewhat learn how to at least develop music from one piece to another and have them like communicate with each other dynamically. But in the same case, just learn good music first. Learn how that was structured, and then learn lo-fi. And then you'll see the difference that, yes, lo-fi for a lot of people does sound good, but is it good music structurally and, you know, talent-wise and everything? No, quite the opposite. It is very lazy. Yeah, sounds great. Fantastic. It puts you in a chill mood and everything. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But there's a reason why there's like over hundreds of thousands lo-fi songs now. And if that's the case, that's like, yeah, there's a reason for that. It doesn't take a lot of talent to make one. Watch, some lo-fi artist is gonna message me one day and say, "You're a fucking asshole." It's like, I'm just telling the truth, dude. Make other music. It's like lo-fi has such like a low bar of entry and a very low ceiling that it's kind of hard to respect anyone that does make lo-fi music. It's like, yeah, most people appreciate it, even I appreciate it because it gives me something to listen to, at least as background noise. We're not like actively listening to this, the music. No one is. If anyone's actively listening to lo-fi, it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't have any like emotional structure. So it's like, wait, what are you actively listening to? Compared to all other music out there, there is no emotional structure into lo-fi lo-fi and lo-fi hip hop. And it's weird that they call it lo-fi hip hop because it has nothing to do with hip hop at all. I've listened to so much lo-fi hip hop over the years, and I've yet to hear one song that reminds me of hip hop. Because most really good hip hop has lyrics too, and even if the like hip hop that doesn't have music, like lyrics, and usually that's a big rarity for hip hop to not have like lyrics. But even when hip hop doesn't have lyrics, there's a certain tone and emotional structure to it. There's a cultural structure to it. And at least with lo-fi hip hop, it tears away that cultural structure and just tries to make it into like, certain mechanics. And it doesn't really, it has its own sound now. Tries to replicate hip hop, but it loses the culture. If anyone knows what I mean. If you know, you know, and now you know. It loses all that culture. So anytime you guys hear me listening to like lo-fi on stream and all that, or at least using it for the stream, I'm not really listening to it at all. I use it on stream because it's mainly a convenience. And it is, it puts people in a relaxed state. But I do not respect the genre. Same thing with mumble rap. Anyone mumble rapping as a career, and they're making millions off of not being good at what they do. I don't have any respect for that either. Now, a rapper that is really good, I have absolute 100% respect for. Like, people like Nas, Kendrick Lamar, people that are actually like 100% professionals when it comes to making music that has impacted the world a million times over again. Yeah. But you compare them to the mumble rappers, it's like, there's something wrong there. Funny thing is, I'll look up back on this, and I was like, I don't think anything's changed about that. I think most people will look back on music too in the future when it when people look back and compare certain genres to other genres or subgenres to the main genre. It's like, what the fuck were we thinking? Mumble rap? We went from what? The beginning of rap to gangster rap to more soulful rap and everything like that and other things. And then we went to like rap that mainly only talked about money and sex and that stuff. And then I think rappers are slowly starting to wanting to start talking about things with substance now, which is good. Not about like sex and money, which would be very nice to actually hear rap that doesn't talk about that stuff anymore, because there's not a lot of substance to it. There's not a lot of soul and emotion. It's a single note topic. Unless you, I don't know, go some other route when it comes to that. Oh yeah, but by the way, Stalker 2 comes out today. Or it has come out. It should be either available now or it's going to be available later on today. I have to double check though. But yeah, Stalker 2 should be out today. Eventually at some point in time. Alright, I'm going to try and clean this by section. Let's clean this little nook and cranny first. So let's see. This is all one. Oh, this is all one thing. Okay. All this is one thing until you get to the edge. Okay. Well, let's try and clean everything that I can see from this angle first. This might take a little bit because I'm going to have to clean it from one angle, pretty much your normal standing position. And then I'm going to have to clean it fully crouched, probably backed up a bit, so that way I can kind of work my my magic. See, I didn't think Claire would be awake so early too. So it kind of makes me wonder if I'm going to have to end my stream sooner than I thought. Like shit. Now that I've known that the beast is awake. Wait. What else is dirty? Oh, do I need to clean the like the top tippy top of this? Oh, I guess I really do have to clean the tippity top of that. One section cleaned. More to go. I might not have to actually crouch down and clean that. Might be able to just clean the bottom like from this angle, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean the top every time. So instead of crouching down, I have to jump up and clean the rest of it. So I'll probably do that. Pretty much do what I did with the outer edges. I'm super happy that the fountain's almost clean. Fully cleaned. And all that jazz. And all that jazz. Isn't that like a Marilyn Monroe musical thing? Like a line. Like, I know it doesn't come from it, but they use it. You know, that jazz. Yay. Well, and while I'm up here, might as well clean the rest of the top of it. I should just do that now. Just clean every single little tippy top. And it's almost slightly infuriating to clean the fountain. Because it feels like there's no end to it. Even though you are making progress no matter what. It feels like you're not really progressing though. It's crazy how wildly unprogressive feeling this feels. Like I'm not progressing at all. Like, how big is this damn fountain? It didn't feel big at all. At least when I first worked on it. Hopefully they give me smaller jobs after this one. Here's the thing too. This is just an odd job. This is not a career job that you have to do. This is a totally optional job. And yet some of those odd jobs have the most to do when it comes to playing like PowerWash Simulator. Do, 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 do. I think Claire turned off the TV and no one knows yet. I hear it. Like, TV's quiet. She must have turned off the TV. I think eventually Laura will recognize that TV's off. What the heck? Why is this not popping? There it goes. These things are going to be a pain in the ass because they have to be almost like 100% clean before they actually pop. That means I'm going to have to like do this a couple times while I'm cleaning it. So I'm going to try not to do this too much because it is a little harsh on the eyes at times. But there are certain textures like this texture. It's kind of hard to see the dirt. It's like, okay, where's the dirty parts? I need to know. There it is. Man, I didn't know this job would be so long. So long. I've already, man, this has been actually a very long job. Like, it's already been like almost 2.5 hours. Holy shit. And we spent like an hour the last coffee stream, maybe like half an hour to an hour last coffee stream working on the same job. That's wild. Like, some of these jobs are going to be insanely long too. Like, you'll be surprised. And I was like, yep, that's what it is. An insanely long job. I mean, you think this is long then? The skate park's going to be interesting. And even that doesn't compare to what you have to clean in the future. I'm gonna clean this part. Try and clean those nooks and crannies. Alright, Claire's into something and I don't know what it is. And of course, I think Laura's busy right now. Like, she's in trouble. I knew she was up to something. I was like, ah, man, should I just like stop for a bit and... Is she behind the TV? Okay, guys, I have like an emergency, so I gotta. I'll be back up someday.